The turkey was perfect. Golden brown skin. Steam rising when Dad carved into it. Sweet potato casserole with the marshmallow topping Mom always made. Green bean casserole. Cranberry sauce from a can because that's how we'd always done it. Everything looked like a Norman Rockwell painting. Except for the tension. My brother Kyle was talking about his promotion. Again, third time since we'd sat down. They're moving me to senior account manager. $9,500 base plus commission. I'm looking at $130,000 total if I hit my numbers. That's wonderful. Honey, Mom said, beaming. We're so proud of you. Thanks, Mom. I'm thinking about upgrading my car. Maybe a BMW 3 Series. Something professional for client meetings. Dad nodded approvingly. You've earned it. You work hard. I cut into my turkey and said nothing. My sister Brianna was showing everyone photos on her phone. This is the apartment Trevor and I are looking at. 2 bedrooms, downtown. $2,400 a month, but it has a rooftop deck, and Trevor's firm is doing really well. It's gorgeous. Mom passed the phone to Dad. Look at that kitchen. Very nice. You and Trevor are really building something. Brianna smiled. We're thinking spring wedding. Nothing huge, maybe 50 people. Let me know what you need, Dad said. We'll help however we can. I took a sip of water and stayed quiet. Then Mom turned to me. Samantha, you've been very quiet. How's work? Fine. Just fine. Work is good, Mom. Same as always. She works from home, Kyle said. Like it was an insult, sitting in her pajamas all day. I'm a software engineer. My company is fully remote. Must be nice, rolling out of bed 5 minutes before your shift. I work 60-hour weeks, Kyle. I'm on Pacific time. My meetings start at 6 a.m. He shrugged. Still, pajamas. Brianna jumped in. Sam, are you seeing anyone? You should be thinking about settling down. I'm focused on my career right now. But don't you want kids? You're not getting any younger. I set down my fork. Bree, I'm fine. I don't need. We're just worried about you, Mom interrupted. You spend all your time in that room working. You never go out. You never bring anyone home. Because I'm busy. Too busy for a personal life. Dad shook his head. That's not healthy, Sam. I took a breath, let it out slowly. Can we just enjoy dinner? We're trying to enjoy dinner, Kyle said. But you're always so defensive. We're your family. We care about you. I know you care. Then maybe listen to what we're saying. You're 32, single, living in your childhood bedroom. Most people your age have moved on. The judgment in his voice was clear. I was the failure. The one who hadn't launched properly. The one still living at home. Actually, Mom said, setting down her wine glass, that's something your father and I wanted to discuss. Kyle and Ashley are having some financial difficulties. Ashley's medical bills from the baby have been higher than expected. And with the new car payment. You just said you're buying a BMW. I pointed out. Kyle glared at me. The BMW is for work. I need it for my career, but Ashley's student loans are killing us, and with the baby, we need to save money where we can. What does this have to do with me? Mom cleared her throat. Kyle and Ashley need a place to stay. Just temporarily. 6 months, maybe a year, until they get back on their feet. Okay. So they can rent an apartment. They can't afford an apartment and save money at the same time. We thought they could stay here. I saw where this was going. In the guest room. Well, the guest room is quite small. It doesn't have its own bathroom. It would be very cramped with Kyle, Ashley, and the baby. Mom, no. Sam, don't be difficult. Your room is the biggest. It is the en-suite bathroom. It makes sense. No. Dad's voice cut in, sharp. Samantha, this is our house. We're allowing you to live here out of the goodness of our hearts. The least you can do is be flexible when your brother needs help. I'm not giving up my room. Why not? Brianna demanded. You're here by yourself. Kyle has a family, a baby. They need the space more than you do. Then they can have the guest room. Kyle slammed his hand on the table. The guest room is 10 by 10. We can't fit a crib, a bed, and a dresser in there. Your room is twice that size. So, downsize. Get rid of some stuff. This is unbelievable, Ashley said. She'd been quiet until now. Kyle said you'd be difficult about this. I'm not being difficult. I'm saying no. Sam, Mom's voice had that disappointed edge to it. The one that had made me feel guilty my entire childhood. Family helps family. Your brother is struggling. His wife just had a baby. They need our support. They have your support. They can stay in the guest room. Stop being selfish about the room. Mom's voice rose. This isn't about you. This is about what's best for the family. What about what's best for me? Dad laughed. It wasn't a kind laugh. What's best for you? Sam, you're living rent-free in our house at 32 years old. You have no right to make demands. Rent-free. The word hung in the air, like a bomb. I set down my napkin slowly. Precisely. Rent-free. Yes, rent-free. You don't pay rent. You don't pay utilities. You live here for nothing while your mother and I cover everything. I looked at him, really looked at him. At his self-righteous expression, at Mom nodding beside him, at Kyle smirking, at Brianna looking vindicated. This isn't your house anyway, Dad continued. It's ours. We decide what happens here. And we've decided Kyle needs your room. So you can either move to the guest room, or you can find your own place. The table went quiet. Everyone was staring at me, waiting for me to cave. To apologize, to be the good daughter who always accommodated everyone else. I pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Mom asked. I didn't answer. I opened my banking app, navigated to my payment history, found the folder I'd labeled house. Then I turned the phone around and set it on the table. What am I looking at? Dad leaned forward. My payment history. For the past 5 years. He picked up the phone. His eyes scanned the screen. His face went from confused to pale. What is this? Mortgage payments. $2,847 per month, every month for 60 months. That's $170,820. Mom grabbed the phone. Sam, what are you talking about? We pay the mortgage. No, you don't. You haven't paid it in 5 years. I have. The silence was deafening. Kyle found his voice first. That's impossible. Mom and Dad pay the mortgage. With what money? Dad's pension is $3,200 a month. Mom's part-time job brings in maybe $1,500. That's $4,700 total. Your mortgage is $2,847. Add utilities, property tax, insurance, groceries. How exactly do you think they've been covering it? Dad was staring at the phone, like it was written in a foreign language. But the payments, they come out automatically, from our account, from an account I set up in your name, linked to my business account. I've been transferring money every month to cover it. Why would you do that? Mom whispered. Because 5 years ago, you called me crying. You said you were 3 months behind on the mortgage. That the bank was threatening foreclosure. That you didn't know what to do. You asked if I could help. Just temporarily. Just until you got caught up. I could see the memory clicking into place on Mom's face. You said you were struggling because Dad's pension wasn't as much as you'd expected. Because Brianna's wedding had cost more than planned. Because Kyle needed help with his business school loans. You said you just needed a little help. A few months. Then, you'd take over again. We were going to pay you back, Mom started. When? It's been 5 years. 60 months. $170,820. When were you going to pay me back? When were you going to take over the payments again? Dad set down the phone with shaking hands. Sam, we didn't realize. We thought we were paying it ourselves. We thought those automatic payments were coming from our account. They were coming from an account with your name on it. I set it up that way so you wouldn't feel embarrassed, so you could tell yourselves you were handling it. But you knew. Deep down, you had to know your pension wasn't covering a $2,847 mortgage payment plus everything else. Brianna was shaking her head. There's no way you make enough to. I make $185,000 a year. Base. Salary. Plus bonuses. I cleared $220,000 last year. Kyle's mouth fell open. Bullshit. I'm a senior software engineer at a Fortune 500 company. I've been there for 7 years. Started at $95,000. Got promoted 3 times. You want to see my tax returns? But you live so modestly, Mom said weakly. Because I was paying your mortgage. Because I was saving for my own house. Because I don't feel the need to spend money to prove I have money. I looked at Kyle. Unlike some people buying BMWs they can't afford while begging to move into their parents' house. Hey, fuck you! Language. Mom snapped automatically. ¿Y qué te going? You want to know what else I've paid for? Property taxes. $9,200 per year for 5 years. That's $46,000. Homeowners insurance. $2,400 per year. That's $12,000. The new HVAC system 2 years ago. $8,500. The roof repair last year. $6,200. The plumbing emergency. The electrical work. The appliance replacements. I pulled up another spreadsheet on my phone. Total amount I've paid for this house over 5 years. $251,340. Mom's fork clattered to her plate. $250,000, I said quietly. That's what I've spent keeping this roof over your heads. And you just told me I live here rent-free. Dad looked like he might throw up. Samantha, we didn't know. Yes, you did. You had to know. You saw the statements. You saw the payments going through. You just didn't ask questions because it was easier not to. We thought, I don't know what we thought, Mom whispered. We thought maybe there was a mistake with the bank. That they'd adjusted something, that our payments were being applied differently. You thought whatever let you sleep at night. Ashley stood up abruptly. Kyle, we should go sit down, I said. You came here to take my room. You should hear why that's not going to happen. She sat. I looked at Kyle. You said I live in my childhood bedroom like a failure. You're right. It is my childhood bedroom. But you know what else it is? The master bedroom in a house I've been paying for. A house I've kept from foreclosure. A house that would have been seized by the bank 5 years ago if I had UNC stepped in. We didn't ask you to, Kyle started. Yes, you did. Mom called me crying. Begging for help. I gave it, and you all just took it, accepted it, benefited from it, and never once said thank you. The truth of that settled over the table. Not once in 5 years has anyone acknowledged what I've been doing. Not a thank you. Not a how can we help. Nothing. You all just went on with your lives, making plans and buying cars, and planning weddings, while I quietly paid for everything. Sam, if we'd known. Brianna tried. You did know. Maybe not the exact amounts, but you knew I was helping. You knew Mom and Dad couldn't afford this house on their own. You just didn't care as long as it didn't affect you. I stood up. So here's what's going to happen. I'm keeping my room. The room in the house I've been paying for. Kyle and Ashley can have the guest room if they want it, or they can figure out their own housing situation like adults. Sam, please. Mom reached for my hand. Primera pult. Away. And I'm done. I'm done paying for this house. I'm done covering your bills. I'm done being the safety net you don't acknowledge. Dad stood up. Wait. Sam, if you stop paying, we'll lose the house. Then you'll lose the house. That's not my problem anymore. You can't do this. Mom was crying now. Where will we go? We're too old to start over. You're 61 and 63. You're not too old to figure it out. Downsize. Sell this place. Buy something smaller that you can actually afford on your pension. But this is our home, Dad said. We've lived here for 35 years. You kids grew up here. And I've paid for it for 5 of those years. I think I've done my part. Samantha Marie Chun, you sit down right now. Mom's voice had gone hard. We are still your parents. You don't get to speak to us this way. Watch me. I walked toward the stairs. Where are you going? Dad demanded. To pack. Pack. What do you mean, pack? I mean, I'm moving out. I am done living in a house where my family thinks so little of me that they can demand I give up my room after I've paid $250,000 to keep the lights on. I took the stairs, 2 at a time. Behind me, I heard chaos erupt. Mom sobbing, Dad yelling, Kyle and Ashley arguing, Brianna's voice rising above it all. In my room that I'd paid for, I pulled out suitcases and started throwing clothes into them. My phone rang. My friend, Alexis. Hey, what's up? Is your guest room still available? I asked. Yeah, why? Everything okay? I'll explain later. Can I move in tonight? Tonight, Sam. It's Thanksgiving. I know. I'm sorry. I just... I need to get out of here. Now. Okay. Yeah, of course. Come over whenever. I packed for an hour, clothes, toiletries, my laptop and work equipment. I'd come back for the rest later. Downstairs, I could hear them still arguing. Mom was on the phone with someone, probably Aunt Linda. The family gossip chain activating in real time. I carried my suitcases down. Everyone stopped talking when I appeared. Sam, please, Mom said, let's talk about this. Let's figure something out. There's nothing to figure out. I told you what's happening. You're really going to leave us homeless? Dad's voice was hard now. Angry, instead of panicked. I'm not leaving you homeless. I'm stopping paying your mortgage. There's a difference. You can sell the house. You can get jobs that pay more. You can ask Kyle or Brianna to help since they apparently have enough money for BMWs and downtown apartments. That's not fair, Kyle started. None of this is fair. But I'm done caring about fair. I'm done being taken advantage of by my own family. I headed for the door. Samantha! Dad's voice boomed. You walk out that door and you're not welcome back. I turned around. Good! Because I wasn't planning on coming back anyway. We're your family. Family doesn't treat each other like this. Family doesn't take $251,340 and call it rent-free. Family doesn't demand you give up your space after you've sacrificed everything to help them. We gave you a place to live. I gave you a place to live. I kept you from losing this house. I paid every single bill for 5 years, while you all went on pretending everything was fine. Mom stood up. We didn't know. How many times do we have to say it? We didn't know you were paying that much, but you knew I was helping. You knew you couldn't afford this place alone. You just didn't want to know the details, because then you'd have to feel grateful. You'd have to acknowledge that your oldest daughter, the one you constantly criticize and dismiss, was the only thing standing between you and foreclosure. The words hung in the air. I'm done, I said quietly. I'm done helping people who don't appreciate it. I'm done being invisible until you need something. I'm done being the responsible one who everyone takes for granted. I walked out. Behind me, Mom started crying again. Dad was shouting something. Kyle was cursing. I didn't care anymore. I loaded my car and drove to Alexis's apartment. She met me at the door with wine and a hug. What happened? My family asked me to give up my room so my brother could move in. Primeta told them no. They said I live there rent-free anyway. I showed them I've been paying their mortgage for 5 years. It got ugly. Holy shit, Sam. How much have you been paying? $251,340. Give or take. Alexis's eyes went wide. Jesus Christ. And they didn't know. They knew. They just didn't want to admit they knew. I sat on her couch and let myself feel it. The anger, the betrayal, the exhaustion of carrying my family for 5 years without acknowledgement. My phone buzzed, 37 texts in the family group chat. Kyle, you're a selfish bitch. Brianna, how could you do this to Mom and Dad? Mom, please come home, we need to talk about this. Dad, you're making a huge mistake. Aunt Linda, your mother is devastated. I muted the chat and turned off my phone. What are you going to do? Alexis asked. Find my own place. Live my own life. Let them figure out their own problems. What about the house? Not my problem. They can sell it. They can refinance. They can figure it out. I'm done. She handed me a glass of wine. Good. Good. You've been carrying them for way too long. 3 days later, I was working from Alexis's guest room when my phone rang. An unknown number. Hello, Samantha Chun. This is Patricia Morrison from First National Bank. I'm calling regarding the mortgage on 847 Maple Street. My parents' house. I'm not on the mortgage. No, but you've been making the payments for the past 60 months, from account ending in 4782. Those payments have stopped. The account has been closed. I am calling to see if there was an error or if you're recanceling the payment arrangement. I'm canceling. I see, and you understand this means the mortgage holders, Thomas and Karen Chun, will be responsible for payments going forward? Yes. Their first payment will be due December 1st. That's in 5 days. If they don't make that payment, they'll be considered in default. After 3 missed payments, we'll begin foreclosure proceedings. I understand. All right. I'll make a note in the account. Thank you for your time. She hung up. 5 days. My parents had 5 days to come up with $2,847 or lose their house. My phone rang again. Mom, I answered. Sam, the bank called. They said the payments stopped, that we owed $2,847 by December 1st. That's correct, Sam. We don't have $2,847. We don't have anything close to that. Our account has maybe $800. Then you should sell the house. We can't sell that fast. It takes months to sell a house. Then you should get a loan, or borrow from Kyle, or Brianna, or Aunt Linda. Figure it out, Mom. Why are you doing this? I'm not doing anything. I'm just stopping what I was doing. You told me I lived there rent-free, so I'm correcting that misconception. We didn't mean it like that. Yes, you did. You all meant exactly that. You thought I was freeloading, living off your generosity. Well, now you get to see what your generosity actually costs. Sam, please, I'm begging you. Just 1 more month. Give us 1 month to figure something out. No. But we'll lose everything. Then you'll lose everything. I've been carrying you for 5 years, Mom. 5 years. And the second I said no to one thing, keeping my room, you all turned on me. You called me selfish. Dad said it wasn't my house anyway. So fine. It's not my house. It's yours. You pay for it. We can't. Then sell it. There's probably $300,000 in equity. You can take that money, buy something smaller, and live comfortably. This is actually good for you. You'll downsize. Simplify. Stop living beyond your means. Mom was crying. This house is our home. Your father and I raised our family here. We can't just leave. People leave houses all the time, Mom, when they can't afford them. That's how it works. What about all our things, our memories? Pack them. Move them to the new place. Memories aren't tied to buildings. I can't believe you're doing this. You're my daughter. How can you be so cruel? I'm not being cruel. I'm being exactly as generous as you were to me. Which is not at all. I hung up. Over the next week, I received 43 calls from my family. I answered none of them. I received 87 texts. I read none of them. I received 2 emails from Kyle calling me every name imaginable, and 1 letter from my parents, delivered by certified mail, Samantha. Pal, we're writing to formally ask you to reconsider your decision to stop helping with the house. We understand you're upset about the room situation. We handled that poorly. We should have been more appreciative of your help, but please understand this house is all we have. If we lose it, we'll have nowhere to go. We're too old to start over. Your father's health isn't good. The stress of losing our home could kill him. We're not asking you to pay forever, just long enough for us to sell the house properly. Get a good price. Make enough to buy something smaller. Please, Sam. We're your parents. We need you. Love, Mom and Dad. I read the letter twice. Then I put it in a drawer and went back to work. On December 1st, my phone rang. Bank, Ms. Chun, I'm calling to inform you that the December payment on 847 Maple Street was not received. The account is now in default. If the payment isn't received within 30 days, we'll begin foreclosure proceedings. Understood. Thank you for letting me know. I found a condo 2 weeks later. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, downtown with a view of the river. My monthly payment, $1,847. Exactly $1,000 less than I'd been paying for my parents' house. I moved in 2 days before Christmas. Alexis helped me unpack. We ordered pizza and drank champagne on my new balcony overlooking the city. How does it feel? She asked. Like I can breathe for the first time in 5 years. My phone rang. Mom. Again. I let it go to voicemail. Are you going to talk to them eventually? Alexis asked. Maybe. When I'm ready. When they're ready to have an actual conversation instead of just begging me to solve their problems. What do you think will happen to them? They'll sell the house. They'll downsize. They'll figure it out. People are remarkably resilient when they don't have a choice. My phone buzzed. A text from Brianna. Mom and Dad listed the house. They're moving to a 2-bedroom apartment in January. They're devastated. I hope you're happy. I looked at the text for a long time. Then, I replied, I'm not happy they're losing the house. But I'm not responsible for keeping them in a house they can't afford. They had 5 years to figure this out. I gave them 5 years. That's more than most people would have given. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. You've changed. You used to care about family. I do care about family. I just care about myself too now. That's the part you all can't handle. I put my phone down and looked out at the city lights. Somewhere across town, my parents were packing up a house they'd lived in for 35 years. A house they'd raised 3 kids in. A house they'd almost lost 5 years ago until I stepped in and saved it. I'd given them 5 more years. 5 years they never would have had. 5 years to make memories and host holidays and feel secure. And when those 5 years were up, when I finally said enough, they'd called me selfish. But I wasn't selfish. I was just done being invisible. Done being taken for granted. Done sacrificing everything for people who wouldn't sacrifice anything for me. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was Grandma Chun. Your mother called me crying. Said you abandoned them. Said to her, letting them lose their house. I told her that's not abandonment. That's boundaries. I'm proud of you, Sam. You deserve to build your own life. I smiled and replied, thank you, Grandma. That means a lot. She sent back a heart emoji. I put my phone on silent and went to bed in my new condo. In my new bedroom, in a space that was entirely mine, paid for by me. Chosen by me. No one could take it. No one could demand I give it up. It was mine, and that felt better than anything I'd felt in 5 years. On New Year's Eve, I was cooking dinner in my new kitchen when someone knocked on my door. I checked the peephole. Dad. I opened the door. Hi. Can I come in? I stepped aside. He walked in slowly, taking in the condo. The furniture, the view. Nice place. Thanks, must've. Cost a fortune. I could afford it once I stopped paying your mortgage. He winced. Yeah. About that, we need to talk. Okay. We sat in my living room. He looked older, tired. There were new lines around his eyes. We closed on the house yesterday. Got $715,000 for it. Tate good. Good, that's a lot of equity. We bought a 2-bedroom condo in Riverside. Paid $240,000 cash. No mortgage, what's left is going into savings. We should be okay. Good. But Sam, we're not okay. Your mother and we've been talking about what happened, about what we did. I waited. We took advantage of you. We let you pay for everything while we pretended we were handling it ourselves. We told ourselves we didn't know, but we did know. We just didn't want to admit how much we needed you. How much we'd failed. His voice cracked. I'm 63 years old. I should be taking care of you, not the other way around. But somewhere along the way, it flipped. And we let it flip because it was easier than facing the truth that I did unplan well for retirement. That we'd lived beyond our means, our entire marriage. That we were going to lose everything if you didn't save us. Dad, let me finish. When you said no about the room, I got angry. Not because you were being unreasonable, but because you were setting a boundary. And that boundary reminded me that you were the one with power. You were the one holding us up. And I hated that. I hated feeling dependent on my daughter. So I lashed out. I called you selfish. I said it wasn't your house. I tried to take back some power by diminishing you. He looked at me with tears in his eyes. I'm so sorry, Sam. For all of it, for taking your money, for not saying thank you, for treating you like you owed us when we were the ones who owed you. You gave us 5 years we didn't deserve. You gave us $251,340 and never asked for anything back. And we repaid you by treating you like a burden. I felt my own eyes getting wet. I didn't do it for thanks, Dad.